Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Javier in the Air. That's right. On this cold November 30th, it actually got cold, and so I actually had to turn on the heat for the first time. So hopefully that won't go for too long, but it will be cold for the next couple of days, so I hope everybody's staying warm. For those of you who have not seen my show before, welcome. For those of you who have seen it before, welcome back. So we got through the pumpkin tasting episodes, which were fantastic. Which, by the way, if you really like a pumpkin beer, then I recommend you go back and looking at the past two episodes. Got some good feedback on that. And whilst I was doing that, putting that together, and then being able to just show them to you, I was able to get some other stuff done. So I'm gonna have our usual trash in the hood, show the neighborhood and some of the trash I pick up, and then a little bit about that afterwards. And then I'm going to do our Zen Moment, which I'm going to try to do another AI generated one and see how that turns out, see what you think. And then right after that, we're going to go straight into the projects. I had a couple of projects, or a project, I should say, that I got done this weekend that I'm really proud about. So I'll show that and show you a little bit of our little insight as to how you can do that, go about doing that yourself. Then also have some trivia. It was we just passed Thanksgiving, and the night before there is Tom Hanks giving. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that while I show you some photos of the runner-up team. Which, sad to say, I couldn't do it. I couldn't keep naming stuff, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that for the show. And then we're gonna follow up and finish with our tasting that I did last weekend, where the theme was beer. That's right, just beer. And I'll follow up on what that is. So let's go ahead and get going, and we're gonna start with our Trash in the Hood. Dark Frog Social Media presents Trash in the Hood, weeks 172 and 173. Hey everybody, welcome to Trash in the Hood. So first we like to see a map. This is 172 day 1, week 172. Shows how many weeks I've been picking up trash. And so it was a lengthy route, and I found a 5-gallon bucket right in the middle of the road, so I was able to pick that up. A tennis ball and some trash, a latex balloon, pieces of it, not one that was filled, and then a vape pen, and then only about maybe 18 to 22 cigarette butts. So it wasn't that bad of a day, except the big 5-gallon bucket was the entertainment for the day. So then we go into week 172 day 2, and this is the map. I was all over the place on this one. I was out on my own, so I was just wandering around. I kept finding little side roads to go down because I would see trash. So here we have a large amount of food, beverage containers, and food bags, and then just bags that had empty food containers in there. All this is empty, by the way. Beverage cups, and then other kinds of plastic baggies, and then of course the always bottle caps and bits of pieces and paper and metal. And then 2 liquor bottles at the bottom because someone's having a good time. And then I think today we had about 32 cigarette butts. Week 173, day 1 was a straight shot, 2.8 miles. Went from my house all the way down to Cypress Creek and then all the way back on the other side. That was off of El Salito Parkway. So you see there a hubcap cover, a scarf of some sort, lots of beverage containers and candy wrappers and potato chip wrappers. And somebody was enjoying themselves with some Red Bull. A couple of beer containers underneath that. And then had about, I think it was about 50 cigarette butts. Hard to remember the number because I just find so many every time. Week 173, day 5, another long one, took me all over the place as well. As you see, some kind of weird whipping around as I was going back and forth at one point because I kept finding cigarette butts. So then that takes us to the picture where you see a lot of beverage containers, a lot of bits of paper and receipts and junk mail that people would just throw out as they got it out of the mailbox. And then, of course, that route that I go on, for the most part, I find a lot of vape pens. This time, I found a lot of vape boxes and snuff boxes. And then, this isn't the top five number of cigarettes that I found for the year. This was 113 cigarette butts that I found. Now, if you go back and look at the map, you'll realize that I went into some heavy traffic areas, but still, this was quite a bit of cigarette butts. I was surprised at how many we got. And there you have it, Trash in the Hood. All right, so there you have it, Trash in the Hood. So for those of you who may be unfamiliar with the show, for the past 173 weeks, I have been walking my neighborhood for my health, and on top of that, I have been picking up trash in the neighborhood. I try to stay on the public areas. I just got a message sent to me yesterday from a nice lady that was asking me if I go behind a certain gas station off of Little Elm Trail. There's a just an open area right next to some dumpsters, and it looks like nobody can hit the dumpsters because it's all in that area, and it is a ton of trash. And lately, as I've gone by a couple of times, it's been really heavily trashed area. It just seems like everybody's just throwing it in that little ditch, and it's not that big of a ditch. It's enough that there's a depression, but it's not really like it's hidden away. But it is behind the gas station, so maybe people just feel like they can go there and throw stuff. In fact, she said she saw a broken toilet in that depression there. And so, unfortunately, I try my best to pick up what I can, and I try to pick up as much as I can. And so sometimes that means there's stuff that I get that gets left behind. Something like a broken toilet, I definitely wouldn't pick up, but I also try to only pick up stuff that's in what we call public areas, the streets, sidewalks. I try to, and then certain areas, if it's a cigarette butt, I almost always will pick it up just because that's the bane of my existence. But I don't try to go into anything that's owned by anybody. For example, I won't pick up trash in a parking lot for a business or a strip mall. That I feel like whoever owns that strip mall or who owns that business should be able to at least have someone pick up after it. And because you would want to it's your business, you would want the front of your business to be as presentable as any other part of your business. And also because there could be, either, who knows, eventually maybe I slip and fall, and then I'm not going to sue, but maybe there still would be people saying, hey, you were on our property and you got hurt, but now we're going to sue you. I've seen it happen. So I avoid what is considered private domain businesses. I'll walk on them, but I won't pick up stuff there. Parking lots, private property such as houses, I've mentioned it before, I will not go on their yards. I try to really not even step in their driveway if I can avoid it, unless it's the part that's on the other side of the sidewalk. Sidewalks are fair game. Maybe I'll grab something that's in the grass that's within an inch or two of the sidewalk itself, but there's just too many cases of people getting upset of stepping onto their property, and so I will not do it for my own safety, for my friend Julia's safety, for her husband who walks with us from time to time, his safety, or for anybody else that goes with me. There's enough junk in the public area that I can do that. Now, I also don't go to parks for the most part, for the same reason. The parks are maintained by an association or by the city themselves, and so they should be picking it up, and shame on them for not doing that. Now, I don't shame anybody on this show, but I will shame cities and associations who aren't maintaining their public areas such as parks and stuff like that. I'm okay with that. So there you have it. Thanks for that email. I won't name any names because I don't do that here, but she knows who she is. So let's go ahead and go now to our Zen Moment. Why not? All right, there we go. So I'm just beginning to find out that this microphone that I'm using is beginning to go out. So it looks like I'll be celebrating Black Monday by having to get another microphone. So that's a shame because this one's coming kind of grainy and I can't seem to fix it no matter what I do. Anyway, so there's your Zen moment. I hope you enjoyed it. Tried something a little different. I don't like what some of the things going on with the software, so but I hope you enjoy it. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about one of the projects that I've been working on. So um, I'll talk more about it on over the photos that I have. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so here's a before shot. So this is the upstairs hallway. Just a couple of rooms. All the bedrooms are upstairs, and then one bathroom to the right. So they're just a plain looking wall. I decided to take a project upon myself to do it this weekend, and I couldn't paint because the humidity and the temperature were not great for painting. So I went ahead and just decided to put up molding. So this is a shot taken from where that mirror was in the first photo, and as you can see there, I have some decals over the doors, which I did on a previous show earlier this year, I believe, and you can find it in my archives. But I decided that I wanted to break up this wall a bit, and since the temperature and humidity wasn't playing well for me this weekend, I decided to do the molding, like I said, and then I went ahead and measured and used a laser leveler, which, by the way, is one of the fantastic things that I've ever bought, and decided that I was going to break it up about 34 inches from off of the top of the molding at the bottom. And then, real quick, at the start of this project, I decided, well, I needed to find a way to cut and then if cut angles and cut straight lines and everything without it being too much of a mess. And I found breaking out the sawhorses for molding and something like that that's not very high or very thick is a pain. Plus, you have problems with it. So I wound up breaking out my uncle's miter box for the first time ever that I've owned this, and I used it. And let me tell you something, it's one of the best things I've ever used for cutting, angles and stuff like that. So here's the pieces of molding. Now, this was some nice hardwood, unfinished, and I decided I liked the leaf motif to it, so I went ahead and bought it, picked it up at the hardware store, and then cut all the pieces. So we got to remember, cut all the pieces that you need to cut first before you do any staining or anything, because you're just gonna have to go back and stain otherwise. So these are all the pieces that are cut that I needed for the hallway. So this is a the first stain, or actually the light stain. So I had an idea in mind of staining it like you see here, and then going back with a lighter or with a small paintbrush and painting the leaves and the vines on there and the little dots. I guess the little dots were supposed to be like pips or like little berries or something. So, but I didn't have that many stains to go with, so I went. This is a very light oak. I believe it was called oak stain on there. So just give it something a little protection. Okay, so after about an hour and a half or so, I gave it a lot of time to let it dry out, especially with the humidity that was out in my garage coming in from the outside, even with the garage door closed. Well, I had to open it up for certain reasons. But I went ahead and now using a little tiny brush, paintbrush that I had, I got the dark mahogany stain, and as you see, I stained all the leaves and the vine and the berries. Now, someone with a little bit more creativeness to themselves would have gone and gotten a couple of other different stains or even paint, but I wanted to keep the aesthetic a little bit better. So for me personally, and so I just kept it with the stain. Okay, so after waiting overnight, waiting for the stain to dry enough so that it was no longer tacky, I went ahead and installed it. So the best thing to do is after you cut all your pieces, lay them out on the floor in front of the area that you're going to put it up to make sure you don't install the wrong piece, which I've done it before, so it's not that unheard of. So laid them all out, got the finished nails that I was using and the countersink, I think it's what it's called, and nailed all of them up. I went quite heavy on the amount of nails per board to make sure that everything stuck. Now, way down at the end, at the left there, there's a 2-inch, maybe 3-inch piece that I was having some difficulties with trying to nail it in, and I did crack it a little bit. So I'm gonna go back and fix it. But overall, I think it gives it a nice ambiance to the hallway itself, especially along with those uh, overlays that I have, even though I need to work on those as well. So here's another shot of it from the side of the mirror that you just saw in the previous photo. And this actually starts bringing it pretty well together. Now, it doesn't go as far on that far right wall. I don't go all the way to the end because I think I have something else in mind. Not I think, I do have something else in mind to do it. But what I'm going to do next, once the weather and temperature is right, is I'm going to paint the walls for the hallway and give it a little bit more of my personal touch to it. Right now, they're just a plain, very light taupe look to it. So if anybody has any suggestions, is what colors I should do, and I want to do two-tone, one color up top, another color down below. So if you have any ideas, just let me know. Can't seem to figure out that audio. It works great when I do a voiceover, but when I do the video, it doesn't seem to want to do it. It seems to want to grab it from another spot. Anyway, so there you have it. There's the hallway project. So like I said in the voiceovers, if you have any suggestions for me for the wall itself, like I said, I want to do top one color, bottom another color. Someone has also suggested to me to do wainscoting, to give it even a little bit more ambiance in the bottom, and that would be either done in white or it would be done as a stain, like you see the molding is right there. But then I would still have to go with the color up top and the color down below. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. If anybody has any suggestions, anybody DIYers out there who want to see it, let me know. Also, let me know what you think. It was a little bit more labor intensive than I thought. It probably took, let's see, in materials, it was probably about $45 in materials. That includes the finished nails, that included the molding, and then I throw in a couple of bucks for the stain that I've already had. So if you already have the stain, kudos to you, as it was to me. So that part was already free. Of course, the labor is free because I did it myself. And then for the staining, that was probably what took the longest. I probably about 25-30 minutes on the first stain, and then about an hour and a half wait, and then about 45 minutes to do. Actually, probably about an hour to do the individual stain of the leaf and the vine and the little berries, and then wait overnight. And then it took about 45 minutes because I wanted to take my time to make sure that I got the nailing down right and that it was level and all that sort of nonsense. So 45 minutes to install. And then prep time itself was probably about a half hour or so. So it wasn't that bad overall. It's definitely a weekend job, and if I would have really put my mind to it, except for the staining, I could have maybe done it all in do it in one day for sure, but the staining is what caused it to be 2 days because I didn't want to have too much fumes going in there. But a recommendation that I found the other day that I think I mentioned on the show before is that not only can you do this with paint, you can do it with stain as well. You can add a couple of drops of your favorite oil into the stain or into the paint that you do. Not only does it then negate the smell of the stain, the fumes that you get from the stain, you're still going to get some fumes from that or from any paint that you do, but then it also adds it to the wall or to the room or wherever you're doing it for. So I like peppermint, and I added in a couple of drops onto into the stain and then onto the wood itself. So it kind of negated the fumes of the stain, and then it brought forth a nice peppermint smell. So it won't last for very long, but right now it smells really great upstairs. It's fantastic how the fresh smell of peppermint is supposed to be really great for mental acuity as well. Okay, so now we're going to go to trivia. I'm going to set this up while you're looking at some of the photos that I have, and I'll talk a little bit about them. Here we go. Well, welcome to Tom Hanks Giving. So this is fourth annual at the Austin Beer Works. The premise is it's it's Thanksgiving, but let's make it something about Tom Hanks because it goes with the day, right? Tom Hanks Giving. So for 4 years now, they've been doing trivia contest Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and it's all about Tom Hanks. They also have costume contests as well, so you can dress up and come as your favorite Tom Hanks character. So plenty of beer out there. It is a family-friendly brewery, and it's a fantastic night. Takes about 2.5 hours, and it's unbelievable the amount of fun that we have. And I'm out there with Brother Rob and his wife and my niece Andy, or his wife Karen, I should say, and niece Andy, and we have a great time. So I'm not sure what part of the night. This was probably towards the end of the night. So the whole thing is, it's just like any other kind of trivia night that you may have been to before, except that the only subject is Tom Hanks. So this night there was 6 sections. The last two, one of them was audio and one of them was video. But you had categories like animated, rom-com, fictional drama, and then drama, and it turned out to be really good. And this is the fourth year, so I'm surprised and impressed that Austin Beer Works is still able to come up with questions that will stump even the likes of me who have been coming for 3 years and the family's been going for four. And so it's really interesting. Now, like I said, for this photo, it's towards the end of the night, and I guess I missed where all the people that were dressed up were because there's only two, and you see in the yellow circles there. One of them, I can't remember even what one of them were, but one of them was definitely David as Pumpkins. So, so the great thing about Tom Hanks and choosing Tom Hanks for this is not only does it go with the name, but it's also he has such a broad range of movies that he's done, comedies and drama and historical drama and not really action. Well, a little bit of action for Saving Private Ryan, but the whole thing is that he has such width and breadth of movies that he's done that it makes it easy for them to be able to come up with something. So it's really something to see. And if you are in the Austin area and you want to join us for the team next year, by the way, we were runners up, and the only problem that we had was that I couldn't remember enough movies and TV shows and everything about Tom Hanks. So we were going back and forth between myself and the captain of the other team, as we were tied for first place, and we had to go back and forth naming Tom Hanks movies or TV shows or even things that he had executive produced. And I think we got about 20 each before I just lost it and I couldn't think of any more. But still had a great time doing it. And then here's Brother Rob and most of his family, or part of his family. Brother Rob on the right, sister-in-law Karen on the left, and then my niece Andy, who is the one that put this together or got us together to do it, and has been doing it for the past 4 years. They've gone all 4 years. I've gone three. So next year I will have to add to our T-shirt, runners up for 2025. Okay, and last but not least, we have Spirit Time. So last weekend, the 22nd, actually last Saturday, I had my tasting for the month, and this month it was beer. So what brought about that real quick is that as always at the end of every tasting, we decide what's going to be the next one. So we were a little inebriated, and we were trying to think of ideas. Well, my good friend Greg said, "Why don't we just come up with beer?" And I say it like that because it covered everything. Anything that you wanted to bring that was a beer, you can bring, and we would judge. And so, as we all know, anybody that comes into my house is a judger, regardless of whether you think you are or not. You're a judger. And so we had, I think we had 8 or 9 submissions. A lot of people drinking here. We had various types of beer. It was really interesting that we went. We had some ambers, we had some stouts, we had a lambic, which if you haven't had we had a cherry lambic that was really good. In fact, it placed second. We had some other beer, and we had a triple, which if you never had before too, that one was really good. It was New Belgium's triple. If you know New Belgium, they do Fat Tire, and but the winner was surprisingly it was this guy, because there was a couple of people that didn't make it, so they may have had something better, but they didn't. They weren't here. So I won with Jester King of all breweries. If you haven't been there, you should go. And no, I'm not sponsored by Jester King, unfortunately. But I had their Belsnickel, and it did very well. So let's go to the tape. Let's go to the photos and take a look at the fun and what also we ate while we were tasting beer. Dark Frog Social Media presents Spirit Time. This week, tasting beer. Okay, so let's start out with the grub. So these were bacon wrapped dates, which is one of my favorite things to make for the tasting party. So is it not it's not only easy to make, but it's also a fan favorite of people who have come to my party. So it's just bacon wrapped around a date. Bake them in the oven 350 for about 25 minutes. These were a little bit more challenging, but they turned out fantastic. These were pumpkin puree and brie pups, basically. They're called brie bites, pumpkin puree brie bites. They also had some pecans on top, drizzled with hot honey. They were fantastic. So these are the first 2 beers that we had for the night. Carbox Love Street, which is a blonde, and then Austin Amber. And so these two were really good. They were nice to start. We actually moved it around from not just going when you came in and wrote on the wall, but what you had. So, or what we went from light to dark. So the next one up was Lindemann's Creek or Kriek. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. I apologize for my pronunciation. But this was a cherry lambic, and it was really fantastic. Almost comes off like a soda on the tongue, but it's got an alcohol punch to it. And then we added New Belgium, like I talked about. This is New Belgium's triple, and it was really good. Now we're going into a little bit heavier of the ABVs, a little bit more punch to them, and a little bit more of a stronger on the finish, and also stronger on the aroma as well, but good aromas. So then here's our favorite trio. As they are joking around, as you can tell, we're already a couple of beers in. So there was a oh, what was this one called? This was like a bourbon aged beer that you see there. I started losing location of everything. So there's the winner, Jester King's Bearschnickel. Belschnickel. I call it Belschnickel. Anyway, it was a stout, and it was absolutely fantastic. It was the winner of the night. Great punch, high ABV, finish straight, strong, great on the tongue, great aroma. So there's some more of the beers that you see. 3, 4, 6, 7 beers there. I lost count of where some of them were, and also I can see. I couldn't even zoom in high enough to see some of these, and I don't see them on the wall. So turns out it was really good, a really great night. Turned out to be fantastic. Next one up, Christmas cocktails. Okay, everybody, that's the show. Hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think about our show. If you're first time coming to the show. If you've been here before and I haven't heard from you, drop a line. Tell me, hey, I love responding to everybody and everybody that leaves comments. So As you saw there, that turned out to be a great night. The food was fantastic. There were some other ones too, but they weren't homemade, so I didn't have them showing. But next one up, Christmas cocktails. That's going to include a trivia contest. So if you are actually in the Austin Cedar Park area and you know me, or you don't know me but you want to get to know me, drop a line and I will send you an invite. So I'm not sure. It's definitely going to be before Christmas. I'm not doing anything near New Year's. So it'll be the week or 2 weeks prior to Christmas, which is coming up very soon. So reach out if you'd like to join me and my friends as we do some Christmas trivia and some Christmas cocktails. So now what's going to be different about that is that, as always, by the end of the year, my liquor cabinet is really full, and I'd like to start emptying some of it out. So it's going to be bring your own mixers. We'll mix them here as we have them, and then we'll have some Christmas trivia. So it's going to be a special night. If you want to join me, please do let me know. And have a good rest of your Sunday, and have a good rest of your or have a good week. Stay warm if you're going to be out there either commuting or just enjoying it. And I will see y'all again in 2 weeks. Thanks a lot, everybody.